Hello. Today we're going to talk about how CIS Mobile can help you change the conversation around smartphones in your government workplace. We're going to talk about taking them from being a security threat to being a fundamental mission enabler. Here's a typical entry procedure in a government building. For security reasons, cell phones are generally prohibited from sensitive buildings. Now, smartphones are amazing productivity tools, but they are highly promiscuous networking devices with multiple cameras, microphones, radios that can connect to your other devices and your networks. What's more, they're not even under control, actual control of the user, because the major OEMs, they try to design secure platforms, but they usually give their own services a massive exception. And this leads to platforms that collect information about their user and send it back to the OEMs and to third parties. It's what they call monetizing the user. Smartphones run with literally hundreds of applications and services put into them by the OEMs, by hardware vendors, by third-party providers like advertisers. These embedded systems collect and report back streams of information, including user location, applications being used, metadata about calls, SMSs, and other activities, and advertising tracking codes that can be used to correlate so much online user activity that it's possible to know where the user lives, where they work, their interests, and thereby tap into deep databases that are effectively able to de-anonymize every user and track them. And we like to say consumer phones are fine for consumers, but governments really ought to know better. So knowing this, you can see why smartphones are prohibited in sensitive government facilities. The question is what to do about the situation. Is there a choice to be made where the only two options are, one, for government users to be deprived of the most powerful productivity tool ever invented, or do we risk a complete breach of security and privacy for government workers and government information? Obviously, neither option is acceptable. So what other choices are available? Should government specify a custom-built smartphone with all of these capabilities neutered and user acceptance is just an afterthought? No, obviously. This has been tried before and it's failed miserably. A few custom phones have been built at very high cost and they failed because by the time they were finished building them, they were years behind the state of the art. If you look at the one on the left, you'll get an idea of what I mean. Users needed to carry a personal phone with them and they used the government phone only when absolutely necessary. No, the right approach is to embrace the massive investment in mobile infrastructure, in applications, in services, with ever-evolving capabilities to delight and support the user. But we need to adapt it to the specific security requirements of government. That's what we've done with the CIS Mobile altOS platform. Our solution is based on Android and it runs on the latest smartphone hardware so that it has the price, performance, and power of a flagship phone, but it still has the usability of Android. And it's designed to let the government customer control it completely. So today I'm going to show you a use case where altOS phones become the user's single mobile device and are still allowed into sensitive buildings where they can be used under control of a governing authority. We call this altOS secure mode. Here's the concept of operations for government users. Using an altOS enabled phone, the user can use all the features in the phone outside of the secure facilities. So these phones will typically have at least a personal container and a work container. The policy controls the capabilities of all the containers on the phone, but let's say in this case the user has a personal space that's exactly the same as a normal Android phone. He can make calls, use Bluetooth, do cellular data, Wi-Fi, use the camera, and so on freely whenever he's away from the office. The user can also run all the popular applications in the personal container. You can have Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, and so on. So for all intents, the phone is a normal, new, fully featured personal Android device for the user. There's no need to carry a second personal device. And now we'll show you how the user can bring this approved phone to the security checkpoint for his workplace. At the entry point, the phone registers with the Guard app, which checks that it's running altOS and it's approved for the facilities. We typically do this over NFC. This check will automatically put the altOS phone into the secure mode policy settings for that facility. What is secure mode? It's a customizable policy enforcement setting that is geofenced to the building. Once a phone is in secure mode, it can't be taken out of it as long as it's inside that geofence perimeter. Or if the phone can't verify its location, you have to assume that there are some places in the building where the phone can't figure out where it is. And so we have to default to the most secure settings in those cases. It's only when the phone can actually verify its location that it'll allow the user to take it out of secure mode. What exactly is secure mode? Secure mode enforces a set of specific policy controls for the facility that are determined by the responsible authority. So typically you'll use secure mode to disable some or all of the microphone, the camera, Bluetooth, cellular, Wi-Fi, and NFC inside the building. Now the phone is still usable. It can still connect to a network over a USB connector if that's allowed by the policy. So the user can still have a fully featured phone and use the work container and perform effective tasks with the device inside the facility. Here's a look at the actual secure mode policy settings in the altOS management console. Rather than show a screenshot, we'll go to a real altOS management console to show the feature. Under Policies for the device, and note that this is a cross-platform security setting. It's enforced for all of the containers on the device with no exceptions. Scroll down here, and here are the secure mode policy settings available. So we can ensure that when I'm in secure mode, there's no camera, there's no NFC, there's no Wi-Fi, no USB. In fact, we'll allow USB on in this case, no microphone, no cellular, and so on. To define the geofenced area for secure mode policy, you can simply add polygons to the map. So simply stretching a polygon around the areas that you want to enforce secure mode is all you have to do. And then we simply save and push that policy out to the mobile devices. It's now getting updated on the whole set of devices out there that have this particular owner's policy. Now this is what secure mode looks like on the user's device. I recorded it earlier on my altOS phone. So you'll see it's a normal Android phone. I'll just run the video so you can see it now. It's showing normal functioning. The drop-down shows that Bluetooth and cellular are working. So I would activate secure mode for myself for this demo because there's no guard app in this case by hitting the secure mode button. And the phone immediately goes into secure mode. The phone's wallpaper changes to show that we're in that secure mode. Accessing the drop-down again shows that Bluetooth and cellular are now disabled, and when I hit the buttons you'll see the user can't re-enable them. I'll also try using the camera, both the default, which simply won't open, and an extra camera app I installed, and you'll see that the camera is simply blocked in these cases. The important thing to note is that these capabilities are controlled by the operating system, so there's no way for apps or the user to work around the controls. It's fundamentally built into the platform, and it's controlled by the enterprise, by the managing authority. So to summarize, we showed how altOS phones can be managed with the secure mode policy to allow controlled use within sensitive facilities. The protected zone can be geofenced, and when outside the area, the user can have a full normal smartphone experience. The government customer benefits from enabling smartphone productivity in the workplace while maintaining strict control over usage. And the user benefits by getting a single modern smartphone they can use for both personal and government work. If you have any questions about the altOS platform, please contact us at sales@cismobile.com. Thanks for your time.